the drone manufacturers are really looking at basically like, flooding our skies. And the estimates are showing that by September next year, when the FAA is finally supposed to come out with regulations, that there's going to be at least anywhere from 7,500 to 10,000 drones in our skies around the United States, with estimates also saying that in another 5 to 10 years, there'll be 20,000 drones around the sky.
What are they going to be doing to us and at us?
Well, I mean, so we need to separate the two between the law enforcement use of drones and the private use of drones as
Commercial
well.
Use,
Commercial use of drones.
We know that Amazon was dying to use drones to make their deliveries even faster than they do now.
And now they're talking about delivering pizza. I mean, this is something, the most absurd thing that we have heard. But I think I'd like to focus today on the use of the drones by the law enforcement, and that's really the issue here on hand. That currently, as we know, that there's 13 states around the country that have passed some kind of a law on the use of law enforcement, the use of drones by law enforcement.
So authorizing them to use
Authorizing
drones?
them, but they have created some kind of parameters under what circumstances they can use. But I think along with that, I'll give you an example that how it parallels the use of drones by law enforcement and private use is that Texas, for example, has passed a law of the use of drones by private individuals, but they have created such restrictions where for activists who are doing the whole thing was about slaughterhouses and cow slaughterhouses. So what happened was that somebody was flying a drone and I'm quoting it, that they saw rivers of blood coming out of the slaughterhouse, which then now what Texas has done, that they have created these prohibited zones around private property. So now if you're an activist and if you're fighting for healthy food, you will not be able to fly a drone around a slaughterhouse.
Okay, so police could fly drones. Commercial enterprises can fly drones, but activists can't fly drones in Texas if they want to monitor activity.
If they want to monitor certain activities. So I think that's where we need to be looking at it. Now, bringing it back to LAPD and bringing it back on a national level, I think we need to be looking at drones on three different levels. One is the militarization of law enforcement. And Ferguson is an example that really came right there blatantly into our face, where already law enforcement and a report had come out end of 2012 by Senator Tom Coburn, which was titled Safety at Any Cost, which showed that over $35 billion has been given by Department of Homeland Security to what they call for emergency preparedness. Within that is a stream of money called the Urban Area Security Initiative, in which over $7 billion has been given to law enforcement to buy different kinds of equipment, and it was through that Urban Area Security Initiative grant that Seattle bought these drones. So when you look at law enforcement and the incredible amount of militarization that has happened, from grenade launchers to minesweepers to tanks to long-range acoustic devices, so drones really add a lot to this militarization of law enforcement. Then the second piece of huge concern is mission creep, that we have known that certain objectives are stated from the beginning, but then over time, and I can point to a couple things real quickly. One is a report that the ACLU came out with on the use of SWAT. And SWAT, the Strategic Weapon and Tactical Program that started out of Los Angeles in the late 1960s, which initially had stated exactly what they're saying about the drone, that it's going to be used in barricaded circumstances and hostages. But now what the ACLU report said, that 79% of SWAT is being used to just bring out just regular warrants to people's homes as well. Homes doors have been broken, children have been killed, kids as young as 2 to 6 months old have been killed as a result of these smoke bombs and everything else. So, and then here in Los Angeles, for example, the surveillance programs, which were slated initially as counterterrorism, have now permeated into everyday, normal, regular policing, where secret files are being opened on people. And really the third piece is what we talked about, public insecurity. We need to be really looking at that, how people think of these drones as well. And then along with that comes a distrust, because just this year LAPD has already had 6 scandals. In April it was revealed that they violated the federal consent decree that was imposed on them after the Rampart scandal. But in April we found out that that one of the conditions of the consent decree was to place in-car video cameras to monitor the movements of the cops. So 90 out of the 300 patrol cars, they sabotaged and broke the antennas. on these cars. Then you have misclassification of crime reports. Then you have these ghost cars, and then most recently ghost cars, where they are saying that they're cruising neighborhoods, but they're actually sitting on their desks. So there are no patrol cars out there. So they are completely falsifying the reporting of their own duty as well.
So how do we trust them with the use of drones? Is what you're implying.
Exactly.